Yeah, beating the weather today to try and get to this, so we'll see how we go. As I said, I think the solution is going to be simpler than you think. It's going to be so simple, you're scratching your head, why haven't people done it years ago? You just think boiling springs lake, maybe that will bring it to your mind or attention, I don't know. Anyway, so we've wetted up our shavings, I suppose, in a way. They're probably not quite as good as the shavings I had before, but they're good enough. But it's supposed to be organic and there are no chemicals added to it, so we'll see. And wetting up with the old Bruce Almighty Pearson, you know, wetting it up with a jug straight off the boil sort of thing. And it's been overnight sitting in that, and it's cooled down, of course. Now we're going to try and put it into a bucket with a small hole in the bottom. That may be a mistake. We found that when it was saturated, interesting point, there was no nitrogen drawdown if the wood chips were actually saturated. So I don't think they're going to stay saturated in this, but we'll see. But we want some void space in there because we don't think it's anaerobic, you see. We think that the idea is to make sure that the iron cannot take the oxygen away from the air, and therefore all the void spaces in the bottom of the pot will be aerobic sort of thing, because the iron will be in a sulfitic state, so therefore unable. Of course, the next question is saying, well, if the iron is unable to take the oxygen out of the atmosphere, is it still capable of taking the nitrogen out of the atmosphere? Because if it's in favour between nitrogen and oxygen, if it can't take the oxygen, is its secondary choice going to be nitrogen? Can it actually fix nitrogen from the atmosphere then, when it's in the sulfitic form? Anyway, just something for you to ponder, because they do say there's about a handful of elements on the periodic table that can naturally, inherently fix nitrogen from the atmosphere, but they don't spell them all out. Anyway, so I'll probably just move this out of the way and move this into shot, and we'll start filling it up, and we'll try and pack it down as best we can, assuming it's going to shrink down eventually, sort of thing. But I don't think it's going to stay saturated. It might start to dry out at the top, but these are the things you learn along the way, sort of thing. It might slump over the next few days as well, so that might be better. So, but I'll try and pack it down as best I can and see how much we've got. So we'll do this, pack it down, put a bit of formula on the top if we can, if it's packed down enough to sustain a formula on the top. May have to put some toilet paper on the top or something, just so we can hold the formula on the top so it doesn't fall down between all the cracks and interstices between until it settles down, sort of thing. May have to do that. So. Yeah, I think you want a better view, don't you? If I put this down and bring it round a bit. Make sure I try that. The prod doesn't. Yeah, is that better for you? I should have done that 5 minutes ago, Richard. Okay. Yeah, it's getting a bit dark here. So. Anyway, might be a waste of time, but we'll see. You never know. Over time it might work, but I may have to, as I said, I might have to put a bit of just a single layer of toilet paper on the top, so when we add the formula, it just doesn't fall all the way through, sort of thing. Assuming it's going to settle down a bit, I might have to put it a little bit not proud of the surface, but you know, sort of. I think it's just an iron skill thing. You probably find that it's going to shrink down an inch or something over time. We haven't put enough in there or something, but we'll see. So in the old days, if you had something like this, it would cause nitrogen drawdown, but we learnt last year, if it was saturated, like flooded, that didn't occur. But whether it's going to occur now, but then again, with the foreman on there, we might build up some microbes or actually start fixing some nitrogen from the atmosphere and counteract that. So we're going to find out. It's a learning curve, fellas, but as I said, I think the answer is going to be... Oh, Auntie Sue's here. Apparently, Auntie Sue is here, okay, for some afternoon tea and briquettes, I think. So, okay, that'll put the end of this video. Okay, see ya.